in the mood to speak on Saturn. Saturn's transits. What's going on with Saturn? So, May 25th of last year, was that this year? Last year? No, it was this year. So we had a preview last year around this time um, about the Saturn entering into Aries. And the transit of the preview that we got last year, the one that we're in now, is for the next 2.5 years. And so it'll be the themes of Saturn around your Aries house in your natal chart. And so I was just sitting up here looking at my natal chart, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm a Leo rising. And Leo rising means my transit, it will be happening in my ninth house. And your ninth house is your philosophy house, travel house, foreign places, higher learning, education, law and religion, things of that nature, and learning. And I can already tell it's kind of happening in my life, in my personal life. Aries is more of a do-it-yourself, or you blaze the trail, right? So Aries energy is the first, because it's the first zodiac sign in the wheel. And that energy comes with a self. I can do it myself. I'm going to be the first. I'm a leader. I have authority. These are the things that comes when you think of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, right? So Mars is passion. Mars is war. Mars is passion, war, creativity, it's power. And I feel like with Saturn coming in with that disciplinary energy, it is to make sure that we are taking our power back and we're utilizing it in a powerful way to move forward into our, destination in life, our purpose, whatever that may be. So, with me having Saturn going into the ninth house, it allows me to continue reading and learning and things of that nature. So if you have Saturn in the Aries in the ninth house, and all of a sudden you're finding, a new nudge to read a lot, learn different, beliefs and things of that nature, you're on the right track. And I've definitely been in that mode in this last, I'll say, 30 to 45 days. I've been reading my ass off and just really, diving into this Aries in the ninth house energy. So when Saturn comes, because see, Aries can be like hot-headed, kind of like the firecracker, want to jump first, want to move fast, get things done, not really have patience. And so you got Saturn coming in. It's kind of like a father coming in to the room with a toddler, or a young kid that is just full of energy, and it has chores, or it has a, just say like a toddler that you, not even a toddler, I'll say a adolescent that you've given some type of chore to. And when you go into the room, you are Saturn. You have to enforce it, because Aries went into that room and started doing what it wanted to do, right? And Aries is always going to do what it wants to do. It's always going to buck against like the tradition or the group, right? And not in a bad way, right? They are the trailblazers. Without the Aries to spark the flame, a lot of people would be clueless on what direction to go and what to do. So this energy is coming to whatever house that you have Aries in. You have the father entering the room, pretty much. So each house and the sign plus planets, if you have them there, they're going to give you a glimpse of the lessons that'll be on the arise in the next 2.5 years, right? Themes from Like the things that were laid up or started or bubbling from last year when Saturn gave us a sneak peek of entering Aries, they will be returning, right? They'll be returning probably with force for you to attack them or to explore them. So, where is Aries in your house? I mean, what house is Aries in your natal chart? So I'm just going to do a couple. I'm going to say a couple of examples because I have all of the houses here with their themes. Again, mine is ninth house. And ninth house is the Sagittarius house. That is the philosophy, travel, wisdom, higher learning, and stuff like that. Law and religion. And I've been really, really researching and doing different things as far as philosophy and wisdom, higher education, cross cultural relations, and learning ethics. So it's definitely on theme for me. Say you have it in the first house. First house is Aries house, right? So the theme is going to be for you to get disciplined. Saturn is coming for you to be disciplined on yourself, your appearance. You might be more focused on that. You may start seeing that you're not playing on the things that pertain to you and your happiness that you may have played with before, that you may have self-sabotage, that you may have, procrastinated. Um, if it's time for you to start new beginnings and you've been holding off, Saturn is coming to kind of make sure you stay on task here with what you need to do. That's going to move you forward in your evolution, right? Your first impressions that people have of you, you'll be working on that. And the self, all about self, your attitude, you will be probably changing that, changing your identity, your approach to life, right? You'll be very focused on like particular things at a time and not scattered. That is literally what Saturn is coming to do. It's coming to restrict you from all of the freedom that Aries gives you where you're not focusing on the theme of that house, right? And so for the next 2.5 years, you may go through a whole makeover. Like you might not even be recognizable at the end of this 2.5 year period in this transit here. Second house is money. That is the Taurus house. But if you got Aries there in your personal natal chart, it's coming to Saturn's coming in to whip you in shape when it comes to your money. It comes to your things that you value, your assets, your work, your daily routines, things like that. What you value, your possessions. With Saturn being there in your second house, this could put you right in like a routine where you get very focused on your money and things like that. You may start accumulating assets and great habits about your job. You may change how you feel about your job. You may change your job altogether, right? Saturn is also with Saturn and Aries. They're both boss type energies. They don't really take orders really good. Neither one of them on their own. So imagine those energies together in your second house. You just might start a business, right? You might just say, fuck working for somebody else. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to, boss up. And Saturn is going to give you that energy. It's going to help you stay focused, disciplined, and get things done, right? And it's going to restrict you from playing. You're not going to be messing up your money and not taking things serious with this energy in your second house. You just very well, if you like, this is the thing. All of us have free will, right? Quote unquote, free will. These energies are coming to help us evolve. It's coming to push you forward. But if you're not ready and you haven't done the work, it'll make the transit harder because Saturn transits aren't easy. Just think about where you have Saturn in your natal chart. You're constantly learning and you don't really get the payoff of Saturn until you put in the work, and that could be years, right? Um, it makes you stern in that area of your life. It makes you serious, and having Aries and Saturn in the second house is definitely going to make you think about your money and getting everything in alignment so you can continue to grow that money. Say you have Aries in the 11th house. 11th house is the Aquarius house, the people house, right? Groups, friends, socials. You may be coming to get more serious about that. Restrict a lot of people that were probably in your that's in your circle, changing some things up, right? Changing and getting more serious about your wishes and your hopes for the future, because that house represents that. You may become a humanitarian and doing, volunteer work, helping with social awareness and things of that nature. Technology too, online. You may get very serious about your social media presence or whatever it is you do. Maybe you do things online on the back end, but Saturn is coming to make sure that you get rid of the things that don't help you align to keep moving. So it's going to be probably partnerships and groups and things of that nature. You may change your whole friend circle. Um, any new groups, you may start joining new groups and getting rid of old groups that you were part of. Um, but no procrastination will be happening. If it does, it's like Saturn will be coming to crack the whip. So that's 11th house, your friends, your groups, your social awareness, humanitarianism, technology, your hopes, your wishes, your future. So say you have Saturn, Aries, and you have Aries in the 8th house. Eighth house is a Scorpio house. That is death, sex, merging, shared finances, inheritance. It is loans, assets, property, joint ventures, goals. It's the mystery house, right? It's the deep, dark, murky house that most people would shy away from. They have a negative connotation about the eighth house. Eighth house is actually a gifted house, in my opinion, because I feel like that Scorpio energy makes them mysterious but very tuned in on a way, in a level that most people don't, because most people are um, level, like they're like surface level, right? Scorpio energy is not surface level. So if you have the Aries with the Saturn transit going into your eighth house, you are going to be deep and darker even more, right? You're going to be diving head first into the themes of the eighth house. You may experience some deaths. It could very well even be a death of a father, right? Because Saturn, or father figure. You may inherit, like I said, inherit some money or something like that, or it's just telling you to be mindful of the inheritance that you have, and not necessarily like money, because we inherit a lot of things from people, but from our family. Um, but Scorpio will make you dive deep, right? And so you'll get more serious about the themes too, because when I was having Saturn in my eighth house, I just went through an eighth house transit. Thank God it's over. It was in Pisces in my eighth house. So there was a lot of spirituality going on, a lot of deep diving, a lot of healing, um, and learning about the occult and mysteries. And I learned about astrology and tarot. Like it just takes you there. That whole theme of the eighth house, that I was in it deep during my transit. Um, so through Saturn, because Saturn made things hard for me. It literally brought all of the flaws to the front. And I had to deal with it, whether it was health wise. If you're new to this channel, I'm a stroke survivor. Had a stroke 5 years ago. I was in my transit when that happened. Saturn and Pisces. So or it happened, the transit happened right after the stroke. So it allowed me, literally, I was in my healing and recovery and going through all of the deep diving that made me a loner, right? And it helped me heal. Um, and also, I became, I would say, lucky. This house is lucky. And people always say it's not. It's lucky to me because you also inherit just people doing for you, people looking out for you, other people's money. When I think about eighth house, I think about other people's money. And during this transit, I was sick and I was not working, but I was highly blessed through other people's money, other people looking out for me and doing things for me. And although it was hard, it was also easy, if that makes sense. It was like the things that I was worried about prior to the stroke. This transit eased that for me. So all I had to do was worry mostly on my recovery, and learning and growing. And so that's what I did. I let it beat my ass at first, but once I, you know, released control and kind of like surrendered to this transit, the transit drifted me down deep where I wanted to go anyways, because that's my type of thing. I'm a 12th houser, have a lot of planets in the 12th house. So I love going in, and it was a, and it's in, okay, so 12th house is Pisces house. I was having a Pisces transit in the 8th house. So I was deep in beyond this world. Like those two houses alone is gonna make you like think about death, think about psychic abilities, think about meditation heavy, manifestation. Like I was heavy on all of that, like rewiring my mindset, my brain, because I was already doing that with recovery and learning to walk. So I just added positive thinking and shadow work. All of those things was kicking my ass, right? It really was. I can't even lie. The stroke came, that was one thing, but the recovery, physically, emotionally, spiritually, was a whole nother thing. And having that transit in the 8th house actually helped. It hurt at first, but it helped towards the end. I'm grateful for it. So I'm just going to wrap this up. If you have any questions or any comments you want to add down below, just know Saturn is coming. He is coming. Well, he's here. And he's been here since February 13th. And he'll be here until April 12th, 2028. So you have to, through Saturn in Aries in the house of your natal chart for 2.5 years. And it's also going to show you where you have too much attachment to social approval, right? So it's like, again, like what I was saying when I was having my Saturn and Pisces in the 8th house transit, it isolated me. I literally cut everybody that was no good for me off. I changed my number. I really, at the end of that transit, I was not the same person. I didn't even want to be around the same people. I didn't want to, none of that. It's like I had really went through a true transit, right? It allowed me to see how much attachment I was having to people and their approvals and things like that. It Saturn comes to test the power and your personal power, your authority, and your reputation. So you may hear some things about yourself that's not good, or that is great, right? So whatever that Aries theme is for you, because Saturn is reputation, or it just makes you get more focused on your reputation. What do you want to be known as? What is your legacy? What do you want to blaze the trail and have people follow you, come behind you for? That is a great way to put it when it comes to Aries. I meant Saturn coming into Aries. Yeah, and again, like I said, whatever theme that you were experiencing in that little preview of last year, May 25th through September 1st, that's pretty much what you're going to be dealing with, or have to look forward to sifting through for the next 2.5 years. Yeah, so also if there's planets there, so you also have to make sure, okay, say you have, like I got 12th house, I have 3 planets in my 12th house. Say Saturn, Aries was in my 12th house, and then we got Saturn going there too. I also would have to incorporate the energies of those planets that are there, that Saturn is also coming to add itself to, right? So if your natal, like my 9th house is where Aries is, but it's empty. So I don't have any planets there. So I would just be dealing with Saturn's energy in that Aries house. But say I had the sun there, then I would be dealing with, incorporating the sun energy that I live with on a daily basis. But now we got Saturn coming into the mix, and then you have to see how those two are going to play together or not, right? And how did that work with you in your life and how you want to move forward? How is it going to whip you into shape, right? That's your sun. Your sun, if my sun was in the ninth house, then it would put, I believe if I had the sun in the ninth house, which is my Aries house, with Saturn entering there, that would make me either travel a lot, start wanting to travel, learning more. Like it'll probably make me a teacher myself, put me in the front. Just think about the sun, it's shining, putting you on center stage. So yeah, I just wanted to run through this because I've been thinking about that for a minute. Like, Saturn is coming. Well, Saturn came this year, and it's really starting to. I'm starting to feel the theme in my ninth house, and so I just wanted to talk about it and see if anybody else can feel the themes of Saturn entering their Aries house, wherever that may be. I hope you enjoyed this chat. If you have any comments I want to add to the commentary about this transit, please put it down below. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace, love, and happiness.